Okay, set number 2 is Paralyze. I didn't even notice who was playing for Air Force Ace. It's probably somebody not very interesting, some Zerg guy. But we're gonna have the Afro Toss playing for SKT. Love me some Afro Toss.
정경두가 살아나고 TF로서 잘 나가는 선수들이 얼마나 많습니까? 이 중에서 살아남기 위해서는 이런 기회에서 한번 이겨야 되면 정경두 이제는 이겨야 할 때가 왔어요.
이렇게 어려운데 코칭 스텝이 부진한 정경두가 출전기를 줬거든요. 코칭 스텝의 믿음에 보너팔
Chavi, thank you. Alright, going into the game. It's aka Chavi versus Paralyze. You'll notice that the aspect ratio is rather weird. In other words, we are stretching Brood War to be as fat as its successor, so to speak. And there's nothing I can do about it because it's the YouTube stream, so I can't like right click this and be like, stop being fat. Could you imagine? Oh man, I just realized if ever I get that question, you know the dreaded question, like, do I look fat in this dress? Oh man, I have the perfect answer now. If on the off chance I'm ever asked that question, which is highly unlikely, but if I'm ever asked, do I look fat in this dress? I'll be like, yeah, you do a little bit, but don't worry about it. Let me just right click on you, I'll change the aspect ratio, and we'll fix that up in a jiffy. Boom! Alright, so that's not recommended. Don't try that at home. Let me instead try it for you and relay the experience. So looks like we're cross spawns again. We're on ground 0, so this makes what, the 8th game in a row that we're cross spawns? Definitely something fishy going on here. Somebody be match fixing these maps, yo. Somebody just like somehow sneaked in the little forced cross spawns thing into the Brood War maps, which is kind of unnecessary because it doesn't really matter where you spawn. These maps are pretty good. Anyway, we are gonna have a 12 hatch against a Forge Fast Expand. He did go for the Forge first because he couldn't see the Zerg putting down his hatchery in time. But notice on the minimap, a second probe did go out, and then it's going back now because the first probe got into the Zerg base. That's a very standard thing. You send your Forge probe to go and scout, and do a second probe scout just to be safe against a 4 pool or even a 9 pool. Then seeing that hatchery down, you can bring that guy back and make a Nexus. It's quite funny because, like in StarCraft 2, you actually never see that, the second probe go out, and I was quite curious about that for a while. I actually, like, on ladder, I actually still do the Brood War style double scout on 4-player maps. Partly because I'm used to it, but also partly because it still doesn't make sense to me that people don't do that. Oh my god, what on earth is going on here? Chavi, he didn't even try to save that drone, damn. It's like, let it die. Alright, now he's freaking out and pulling 3 drones. I think Chavi lost already. You can't be losing a drone and then overreacting and pulling 3 drones to attack 1 probe. This is just a little bit silly. But yeah, like in StarCraft 2, you know, people like they'll just go blindly 15x or 17 Forge or something, which is like not safe. At least, I don't know, from what I see. So we do have a standard 3 base thing. Actually, looking at the 3rd base here from Chavi, that's a quite strange location to take it. he took it at the bottom left natural rather than at the top right. Actually, I shouldn't say strange, but it makes more sense to me to take it at the top right one, because just by grounds, that's a lot closer to your own natural, whereas taking the bottom left one makes it a lot closer to the Protoss. So that seems a little bit weird to me. I mean, recently we did see a ZVP where the Zerg took the top right one, and I was talking about how good that is. So this time Chavi took the far away one, and I'm not 100% sure about that decision. I mean, I guess all that really means is if it goes to a long game, he'd rather split the map into top versus bottom rather than split it vertically, if that makes sense. Either way, it looks like just going into a standard mid game here, so that earlier drone kill shouldn't really make a difference. It just kind of shows the it's more of a psychological thing on Chavi. Hopefully it doesn't affect his mental state too much. And looks like Paralyze is actually a little bit scared of a Ling run by here, and it looks like he's right to be. There's a decent number of Zerglings coming out here. I guess he saw those with his scouting probe or something. I didn't actually notice, but he definitely saw something that indicated to him that there was a Rombai coming, and he's completely prepared. 2 probes blocking that gap between the pylon and the forge. 2 Zealots to the top. He had a second cannon finished as well. The Zergling's going to do absolutely nothing, and as the observer showed us a couple of times there, that did cost Chavi, you know, his drones. He's just now got a couple of drones starting to mine at that third base, instead of having spent all that larva on Zerglings. Now finally going to get rid of this probe here. Also revealing that he does have Zergling speed finished now as well. So that's quite bad actually for Chavi. All that really cost the Protoss was an extra cannon and a little bit of lost mining time from those 2 probes, but absolutely worth it for him to take no damage from all these early speedlings. And looks like now he's all blocked up with Zealots. Looks like his Armored X-Core spinning, so it looks like going for a +1 Corsairs as well. Probably going to go for that Corsair speed lot style mid-game that is so popular nowadays. And we do see a Citadel as well, of course. His forge already started spinning a little while ago. So he will have +1 speed lots before +1 Corsairs. So you can probably poke out a little bit first with the speed lot force, and then kind of regroup with the Corsairs and move out and have like a pretty nice mid-game army there. It's like random overlords flying around in the middle of the map. Zealot's going to poke out a little bit now. Just be careful not to get too aggressive, because there are speedlings on the map, so he doesn't want to get surrounded and picked off. It's actually very crucial when you're going for these +1 speed lot timings to not lose like initial Zealots. So, like for example, if you're not going for this kind of strategy, if you're instead just going for the fast Templar and Turtley style and maybe taking a faster third, or you can just go and harass with like your first 1 or 2 Zealots, and even if you lose them, it's not a big deal. Whereas if you're going for like mid-game +1 speed lots, it's actually better to not harass with your initial Zealots, so that you save up and get a bigger mid-game force. I mean, in this case, obviously he wouldn't have gone anyway because he saw all those speedlings on the map. But just in general, it's kind of what you should keep in mind. Looks like a few a few overloads getting picked off here. It's not so good. And a decent number of speedlings on the map, but there's still too many Zealots for them to pick off effectively. Or efficiently, I guess. And now that's moving down to the bottom left here. There's a couple of Sunkens on the way. A bit of a beginnings of a Sim City, but not really blocking those Sunkens quite yet. Alright, looks like adding an evolution chamber now, but really not, I mean, it's kind of a SimCity-ish, but it's not really blocking anything. It's not getting a third creep colony even. Looks like speed is now finished. +1 already done as well for those Zealots. And he's just going to go in here. Actually, he's just going to run around here, going around the back of the minerals. Wow, that is obnoxious. Where is he actually going to go? Is he going to go to the bottom left? There is actually a hatchery starting there, it looks like. A greedy 4th base from Chavi. Been seeing that quite a lot nowadays. Jaedong, in fact, recently got punished for it, going for that fast 4th. When he played against, who was it? I can't remember. But anyway, Speedlot's just going to chill here. So they're actually not going to go to the bottom left here. They're just going to stay on the side, maybe try and pick off a drone or 2. Abuse the fact that those Sunkens don't reach the left side mineral patches. I think they can actually move in a little bit closer. They're just going to hold position on the mineral patch, because those Sunkens are actually quite far away. And the Corsair's now moving in. Oh, gotta be careful here. I think she just attacked. Oh, nice move. Wow. Those Scourge completely not paying attention there. I think Chavi moved them, like he had them right-clicked in that direction to intercept. Didn't realize that Paralyze would just kind of change direction and attack. A lot of times pro gamers will just like run all the way back to their cannons in that case. So I think it was correct for Paralyze to just attack right there. That's good good move. But the fourth base is up and mining. Look at this, Chavi's actually not really concerned by these zealots at all at his third base. He's got enough Zerglings there to help out, so he's just droning up like crazy. And this definitely kind of puts the pressure on the Protoss to do something about it. Looks like Paralyze is going to respond by just going over and taking his mineral only, but I don't really know about this response, honestly. These mineral only bases now on ground zero have been neutered down quite a bit from the last incarnation of this map, so taking a fast third, unless he takes the 9 o'clock, doesn't seem like the best response here. And now mutas are out to clean up these zealots, so zealots just gonna like kill a friggin' extractor. That's not very useful. The Corsairs are there. I don't know why they're not going over to attack the mutas. More importantly, I don't even know why he went mutas. There's already like a solid number of +1 Sairs on the map. So for these mutas to be effective, he's gonna have to get like a 6 around with mutas and Scourge. I mean, I would have made like 1 muta to just attack the zealots, and that's it. But it looks like Chavi actually wants to take air control here. He's actually forgotten a drone on that gas, which is quite bad if you're going for mass muta Scourge, considering how gas heavy that is. But he actually wants to take air control from the Protoss, which is basically going to come down to positioning here. I like that second cannon in the main also, just to help defend against mutaless counterattacks, which can be quite annoying to deal with. But yeah, basically, you see, you cannot group up your muta and Scourge like that. If you clump them up, you're going to get annihilated by the splash damage from the Corsairs. You need to spread them out and basically get a big arc and a flank on the Corsairs and try and kill a lot of them with the Scourge. It looks like mineral only is finishing up there for the Protoss. A bunch of zealots now moving out. I guess, you know, since he was going for the speed lot focus, getting a mineral only isn't that bad, but you know, in general, going into the late game, the Protoss really wants those gas units instead of just zealots. Zealots really don't scale well going into the mid/late game. I mean, in the late game, getting a good number of zealots is fine if your opponent's just going like ultra lane. But you know, you'd rather have High Templar, Archons, Reavers, etc. So, looks like Robo is just now on the way. It's funny, that is actually a really late Robo, like after third base. The very standard common Robo timing, just to be safe against, you know, almost all lurker timing, is to get it after your 4th gateway on 2 bases. But this late Robo, I think, is very, very smart. So he saw the greedy fast 4th base from the Zerg, and then he saw the mutas. So the greedy fast 4th base tells you that even if your opponent is going for fast lurker, he's almost certainly going to be defensive with them rather than aggressive. And then, for a little while there, he didn't see any lurkers, and then he saw mutas. And as soon as you see the mutas, you know your opponent's not really going to have lurkers. Or if he does, he's only going to have like 2 or 3 at most. Just because, you know, all of his gas is going into the mutas and Scourge. So delaying that Robo, I think, was a good little optimization there of the build, of the strategy. Meanwhile, though, Zerglings are actually going to the mineral only. There were only 2 cannons here, so they're actually going to do a decent number of damage. And it looks like all the Protoss ground forces are coming back here to defend. The Zerglings are going to target down the Nexus, but they don't have the Adrenal Glands upgrade yet. Although it looks like Adrenal Glands actually just finishes. Wow! The Adrenal Gland finishes on the Zerglings as they were taking down the Nexus. Look at that, the Hive is done, the final amount is up. Wow, I thought they would not get that Nexus because they didn't have the attack upgrade, but they actually ended up getting it. Just look at, did you guys see how fast that Nexus went down? Oh man, cracklings are pretty good. So now the Paralyze is back on 2 bases. The Zerg's on his 4 bases. He's got a billion Scourge. He's got his Hive Tech up. Looks like is this going to be a Storm Drop or something? I guess that's going to be a Storm Drop here in the back. There's not actually that many drones there though, so it's not going to be worth it. Oh, if he gets the middle one, it'll be nice. Alright, he gets like 3 or 4 drones. He got like 4 drones there. If he could have stormed the Muta clump, that would have been awesome. But oh god, oh man, that was a lot of Scourge hits. Although it looks like it doesn't matter though. There were too many Corsairs. And Storm! Oh, that was a nice job there. He knew that Chavi, having pulled his drones away from that base, would be sending them back at that point. Didn't realize the Storm Drop would just come back in. Ooh, nice, 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 nice. And now he's going to the bottom left. Oh, Storm! Oh, a lot of drones going down in the second drop. So that Storm Drop has now been very worth it. I think he's going to lose a shuttle now, though. Yep. Shuttle is going to go down, but I think that's already paid for itself there. He must have gotten, you know, like 15 drones in total at least. Unfortunately for him, though, he did lose the majority of his Corsair fleet, so he's only down to just 3 Corsairs. And these Krakens are doing so much damage. Look at that. Even though they're out upgraded, they're 1-1 against 2-0 Zealots. They're just tearing everything apart here. And that's why the Corsairs are gonna come home. But look at this. See, just now the Paralyze had like a 40 to 50 supply lead at one point, and now he's still actually got a decent supply lead, but it's narrowing. It's slowly but surely narrowing now to like a 30 supply lead for the Paralyze. And a 30 supply lead is actually fine anyway for a Zerg in ZVP. Zerg's always a little bit behind in supply in all the matchups. And the more crucial thing is that he's got all his tech up. Look at this. He's got his tech up. He's denying these bases. I don't even know if that Nexus was cancelled. He's just being super efficient here with all these cracklings. He's making essentially nothing but Zerglings right now. Saving up all of his gas. If you look at the bottom left, or bottom right rather, he's got over 2,000 gas in the bank, and this is actually a style of play that we saw Effort use extremely effectively recently, where basically you go almost pure Zergling, maybe with some Defiler support in the mid game, and you save up all your gas, and then in the late game, because you've been so super cost efficient against the Paralyze, you suddenly switch into like 15 Ultralisks and just instantly win the game. It's actually pretty amazing, but Paralyze doing a good job here, putting on some pressure at the bottom left, forcing out some Sunkens, forcing that Defiler energy to be used. But look at this, just more Zergling counterattacks, and this is so unbelievably annoying for the Paralyze. I think he has to cancel that Nexus again. There's no way he can save that. Definitely has to cancel. Yeah, this time he does get the cancel off, but look at this, Paralyze cannot get a third gas up. He's still on just 2 gases against the Zerg's 4 gas. And Zerg Hive on 4 gas against a Protoss 2 gas is so ridiculously scary for the Protoss. And look at this, oh my god, he's not even using his gas. He's massing those cracklings here, plaguing all the Dragoons. Decent storms, but oh man, there's the Dark Swarm. Those Dragoons, they have to run! They're stuck in the Dark Swarm! Oh man, they're going to do no damage to the Zerglings. I don't know why he's doing Scoot and Shoot micro when it's not going to do any damage. It's like completely pointless micro right there. And there is the first Ultralisk coming out. Looks like he's just making drones. Yeah, Paralyze got a giant army outside my base. Better make some drones. Taking some inspiration there from Liquid Ret. Drones and Sunkens, ladies and gentlemen. Drones and Sunkens. That's how we do it. Now, see, now it's kind of questionable for the Paralyze. It's funny because you'd think that with this expansion pattern, it'd be good for the Paralyze because he can kind of expand to the 9 o'clock while putting pressure on the bottom left. But even just that little gap that he left there allowed Zerglings to run in. Those Zerglings, man, those Speedlings are so slippery. Oh my god, he's going to lose a couple of High Templar here. See, I think this is actually a big mistake by him. What he should be doing now is leaving 3 Zealots and 1 High Templar at that base. So you hold position, 3 Zealots on the ramp with 1 High Templar behind, and then you can move your army wherever you want, and you will be able to cost efficiently deal with Zerglings. Even if he attacks you with like 50 Zerglings, if you have 3 Speedlots on the ramp, so obviously they're going to kind of hold the choke point, do like a 300 style hold, and then even if they get taken down, which will take a long time, it'll give you time to bring your army back. So I think that's actually quite a big mistake for Paralyze to not be doing that when he can see how aggressive and how counterattacky, I guess, the Zerg is being with these Zerglings. I mean, it's just such a cheaper way to deal with this than having to bring his entire army back each time and having to cancel so many Nexi. Just leave friggin' 3 Zealots on the ramp. Anyway, I mean, Paralyze is doing an okay job here. You know, keeping his army mostly intact, but how's he going to deal with this Ultra Link switch, though? I'm not really sure, because he's got no Archons in this composition right now. Like, Dragoons are actually decent, surprisingly good against Ultralisks when there's no Dark Swarm, but there's plenty of Defilers on the map, and I'm sure Chavi's shown pretty good Defiler use lately. Oh man! Sick Plague on those Dragoons. Oh wow. Defilers, man, are the bane of Dragoons. Plague and Swarm just so good against them. But oh, looks like we have another Storm drop. Storm! Ooh, very nice. He's also got shuttle speed, in fact, and a nice little choke point here at his 3rd base here. See, this is what I'm talking about. If you just have a couple of Zealots in the choke point with a High Templar behind, it's so good. And oh god, the Storm drops! So effective here against Chavi. Chavi cannot be happy about that. He's trying to take down the space. He needs another Dark Swarm, though, to help out those Ultras. Although, actually, well, I mean, Ultras are pretty good against cannons anyway, even without Swarm. Now the rest of the army is going to come in and clean this up, and actually, Chavi is kind of losing his grip on this game. I mean, the 9 o'clock base has been established now. This counterattack at the mineral only hasn't done too much, and he's just lost so many drones in that drop. And you know, by this point, he's not really like those mid-game Zergling counterattacks were okay, but otherwise he needs to be doing a little bit more now. Now that his Defiler's out, he should be doing like Dark Swarm Link counterattacks on those bases and stuff. Like his execution of this style just seems so far inferior to the way Effort did it. Like Effort also incorporated a lot of drop play into doing this, so a lot of just very efficient Zergling drops into the main base to just snipe tech buildings and kill gateways, because Cracklings kill buildings so fast. But in this case, it's like Chavi kind of isn't really sure what he should be doing here. His you know, map awareness and stuff doesn't seem to be nearly as good as Effort's. And I mean, that's not, you know, say he's bad or anything. I mean, Effort's amazing. Effort showed a beautiful execution of the style. It's just quite interesting to see the contrast. And I mean, although Chavi still seems to be doing okay, even though he's lost a lot of drones, he's still actually catching up on the supply. He's only 20 supply behind now, 145 against 165. And looks like we might have a decent, big engagement here in the middle. But this Paralyze composition is actually getting a little bit too strong now with 2 Reavers in there, and a nice plague on the Reavers again. But oh, there's the Dark Swarm that we needed. I was gonna say, where's the Dark Swarm? I mean, without Dark Swarm, the Dragoons actually take down Ultralisk really fast, and the Zealots will just buffer against the Zerglings. Looks like with that Swarm there, and oh, more Ultralisks coming in. Actually, it looks like Chavi might be able to take this. The Scourge is going to come in, pick off some Observers, pick off the Shuttle, and oh man, it looks like Chavi does manage to wipe the floor with the Protoss army. The lack of Archons really hurting the Protoss there. Just the constant lack of gas. Look at that, making 4 Archons. It is natural. If he had those with that army there, I think he would have won that engagement handily. But suddenly Chavi is ahead in the supply. Paralyze looking in a bit of trouble there. That Protoss army was so expensive. You cannot rebuild that easily. I mean, look at this. He's remaking his army as Zealots and Archons. That's the composition you want against Ling Ultra. Zealot Archon with maybe a couple of Reavers to support. But losing all those Dragoons, I mean, Dragoons continue to be useful as long as you're not under Dark Swarm. And losing that big, expensive core of Dragoons is so bad. Are those drones stuck? Are they? What are they doing? I think those drones might be stuck. But yeah, look at that. Wait. Whoa. I wish they would show it. There's some weird pathing going on right there. Either way, Chavi has a huge advantage right now. Even the Zealot Archon isn't like extremely cost efficient. Oh! Wait, was that only 1 Scourge? Oh man, Storm! Yeah! Alright, gonna do another Storm here. 16 kill High Templar, very nice. Chavi even transferring those drones back, that's a little bit dangerous. That High Templar could potentially have a 3rd Storm on it. Assuming he did get the energy upgrade. And it looks like Chavi now finally taking a 5th base here. Like, he took his initial 4 bases super fast and hasn't expanded since. So, you know, like his main and natural are getting mined out here. Ooh, nice attempted Plague dodge there. Wow, I am far more impressed by that Plague dodge. Did you see that? He like tried to split his Zealots out there. That was really cool. He saw the Defiler incoming and did like a little juke. I mean, he did get a few Zealots plagued anyway, but that was actually really cool. Huh. Anyway. Looks like DT gonna go see this expansion. Chavi actually taking both of those mineral onlys. And this quality is really annoying me, by the way. I'm just gonna have a quick look at the other stream I have. Is it still lagging? It looks like it's actually okay. Alright, I might actually switch streams in a second. Alright, you guys, you ready? Yoink. And since this stream is like 2 seconds behind, I think we're gonna be fine here. All right, sweet, higher quality. Also the correct aspect ratio, which is lovely. Oh man, now it looks so weird looking at it in 4:3. Everything like seems super skinny. Whoa, sorry about that. So, yeah, I mean, same situation as we were in a second ago. So DT wasn't able to kill the hatchery, of course. Oh, Plague! Plague, but a storm drop as well. Man, both players being as obnoxious as possible here. It's like neither of them actually want to kill each other. They just want to piss each other off as much as possible here. Oh man, this isn't even like a real game. Oh wow, that would have been amazing if that worked. Oh my god, that army is gonna be so damaged. Basically, he dropped one of those Templars to try and storm the Scourge before it hit the shuttle. It didn't quite work. Oh man, non-stop plaguing of the army. I think a Swarm might be better at this point. I think all the Zealots are in the red health already. But yeah. Anyway, I like this Reaver here at the 9 o'clock just to help defend. The Reaver should be behind the cannons though, not in front. You want the cannons to be tanking damage for you. It's actually quite interesting how it works when you're defending Protoss bases. Like, when you see a bunch of photon cannons there, the photon cannons themselves actually aren't supposed to do damage. Once you get to the late game, they're actually just there to buffer for High Templar and Reaver that sit behind. Whoa, Storm! This is actually becoming less and less cost efficient there. When there's only like 6 drones there, it's not even worth wasting the Storms. It's better to keep it with an army. It's actually better to have one Archon with your main army than to, you know, kill 5-6 drones at this point, because once you get to the late game, those drones actually don't really matter. The Zerg has so many larvae that you can just replenish them easily anyway. It's actually more important to make sure your core army is just ridiculously OP as a Protoss player. Like, that is a lot of Zealots in that composition, and only 6 Archons. Well, I say only 6 Archons. 6 Archons is still pretty damn scary. Are those drones still stuck there, by the way? I'm looking at the minimap here. I still see a bunch of drones bouncing back and forth between that wall and like the top of the ramp there. I think they're just completely bugged out, and Chavi has no idea that he's got a bunch of idle drones there. Well, they're not really idle. They're just like running back and forth uselessly. Anyway, both players are actually getting really high on the supply. 166 supply for the Zerg against 183 for Protoss. This is getting as close to max versus max as you really can get in a ZVP. And honestly, I'm not sure whose army is stronger here. I mean, the Protoss army looks a little bit more intimidating, but most of those Zealots are in the red health, remember. They've gotten constantly plagued. And here we go! Looks like Chavi's just going to go for it here. A decent position for the Protoss, keeping his Reavers in the back, behind the Zealots and the Archons, allowing them to buffer. And looks like the Defilers came in a little bit late. The Storm is a little bit late, but it looks like the surround is enough, though. The huge surround from Chavi takes down the Protoss army here. Oh my god, Paralyze! I thought he had an okay position, but Chavi coming in from every direction with so many Ultralisks. Even though the Swarm was late, it didn't even matter. Paralyze has killed 1 billion drones in this game, but it doesn't even matter. Although he looks like he's just going to kill more drones. Alright, that is the solution. When you were losing as Protoss, go and Storm drop some more. Oh god, he's going to catch the drone transfer. He's going to catch the drone transfer. Run! Oh no, it's a Reaper drop this time. Alright, it looks like top right base is going to get taken down as well. Looks like was kind of established while everything was going on. There is actually one DT there that's going to do a lot of damage. He should actually be targeting down the Ultralisks with that DT. But it looks like, oh, the Sweet Shell is trying to run. Oh, Storm! Nice Storm! Catching the drone train. That DT actually is probably going to save that base. Oh no, another load's going in there now. And, I mean, Paralyze is down to 76 supply against the 137 supply of Chavi. Chavi looks like he has taken the game against Paralyze here. A long ZVP. Pretty funny PvZ. Overall, and you know what that's going to mean? That's going to mean that Air Force Ace is actually going to 2-0 SKT in the Brood War best of 3 here, which is kind of ridiculous. Looks like another plague on those units, but you know, just mass Ultraling flooding in here. One Zergling left to kill that Nexus. Oh, even plagued the Ultralisk there. You plagued that poor little Ultralisk. Paralyze is going to go. Oh, no, you're not. Well, nice try. You'd figure after getting Storm drops there enough that Chavi would finally put some skirts there, and he did. He did, after, you know, losing 80 drones or something. Oh, another one's going out, though. He really wants to kill some drones. You know, there's like 15 Ultralisks on the map, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is to kill as many drones as possible. That's probably a Reaver drop, actually. Oh, Storm! Oh. And there we go. Chavi has had enough. He's going for a break on the natural. The Reaver doing a good amount of damage, but gets taken down, and that's going to be it. Nothing to hold that natural here. GG from Paralyze. At Air Force Ace, 2-0s, SKT in the Brood War best of 3. What on earth is going on? Although, to be fair, SKT did send out JYJ and Paralyze, who aren't exactly their heavy hitters, but damn, now SKT, they got to pull it back in StarCraft 2. Air Force Ace, laying nerds and taking names. Boom.